The Coliseum. Some players hated it, some loved it, and some never even thought about it at all. I for one loved it. It was a way to track your progress compared to other players and to have fun with different items that would otherwise not have much of a use. To me, the Coliseum was what got me into grinding the game. I remember the first time going into Hub 1 and getting one shot in my hardened diamond armor and wondering how they did so much damage. I started to really grind so I could work towards what they had. I started to unlock talisman after talisman and got my foraging up as high as I could so I could do as much damage as possible. It's also what got me into grinding farming, so I could get 400% speed with just my farmer boots, a hunter knife, and my ocelot pet. This was pretty funny looking back in the day because god pots weren't really a thing, and players wouldn't risk wasting their splash potions because if you died with them, you would lose them. So a player running around at Mach 10 in just boots was pretty goofy looking. Once I became strong enough, I would lure mid-game players in the Coliseum, and I'd ask them to let me test my hardened diamond and Raider Axe on them. I'd then fight them and kill them in just a few hits. They'd come back angry and try to kill me, but I'd just keep killing them. It's how I knew I was finally good at the game, and it got me even more motivated. I think this speaks to how a competitive player versus player environment can push people to strive for greatness. It's why with the absence of regular PvP encounters in Skyblock, the best players instead try to get into top guilds and on the leaderboards and to deal as much damage as possible to other enemies. I think the Coliseum was really good for the game, and I wish they expanded on it before they had to shut it down. The reason why it says it's under renovations now is because Minecraft servers have to abide by the EULA rules and can't have player versus player interactions if there's a pay-to-win aspect. Since cookies were added and they're pay to win, the admins had to remove the Coliseum. A lot of smaller servers just ignore the regulations with almost no punishment, but because Hypixel is so huge, they have to abide by it. Otherwise, they will face serious punishment. There were some issues with the Coliseum, where if it were to come back, they would need to fix it, but I don't think it'd be too difficult. Some weapons were broken and needed fixing, and some glitches were able to destroy players. One glitch cost me over 15 million coins. And back then, that was a lot of coins, especially to lose to such a stupid glitch, especially when it happened more than once, so it's really only my fault at that point. Basically, there were certain corners of the Coliseum where if you sat in there, it wouldn't technically count as a Coliseum because the zoning was off. You could sit in these corners and if you were killed there, you'd lose half your coins. But you could also abuse this bug by dealing massive damage, sometimes 20,000 to fully armored opponents. And the reason that this was a thing is because in the Coliseum, you would normally have your damage toned down to a small fraction of what it normally was, so that way it would be fair, and that you wouldn't just be one-shotting every single person you come across. Because you're technically out of it, you could deal your full damage. It was pretty overpowered. There were other glitches, like the Guardian Wither Skeleton Pet being able to kill anyone outside the Coliseum or in it, which would also cause you to lose coins. Some weapons were also broken in the Coliseum. You could use a Scorpion Bow, which had an ability to deal 35 times your strength per second for 6 seconds. As you can imagine, endgame players using this will deal way too much damage to other players, resulting in it to be a one-shot every single time. Other than these issues, the Coliseum was pretty fun. It was a free-for-all with no consequences other than getting you quite mad at the game. I really wish they would bring back some sort of PvP in Skyblock, along with a skill you could level up. I'm pretty sure it wouldn't be allowed, but it would be a fun thing to grind. You could have an ELO rankings that you can get matched up with players around your skill level. It would make use of a lot of lesser used weapons with niche abilities and could result in a more diverse and balanced economy. It would also allow players to strive for something other than just good stats, and I think it would make players who are more into PvP more into Skyblock as well. And I'd much rather have this in the game than cookies, but then again, having more devs is also pretty important, so maybe this thought will just have to be shelved, at least for now.